Good evening, and thank you so much for being with us. The state's top attorney is addressing controversy surrounding an East Texas man's execution. Attorney General Ken Paxton says he is setting the record straight in the case of Robert Roberson of Palestine. But as KLTV7's Lauren Tier reports, Roberson's attorneys are fighting back.
57-year-old Robert Roberson of Palestine has been on death row for more than 20 years. He narrowly avoided execution last week after lawmakers issued a subpoena, prompting a 90-day stay. The Attorney General's statement supports the original conviction and the death penalty in this case. It goes on to condemn the actions of a bipartisan House committee of legislators, including Representatives Joe Moody and Jeff Leach. In part, the statement reads, a few legislators have grossly interfered with the justice system by disregarding the separation of powers outlined in the state constitution. In response, this afternoon, Roberson's legal team released a rebuttal saying there were, quote, misrepresentations in the AG's statement. Paxton's letter referenced Nikki's autopsy, saying blunt force injuries to the head caused by Roberson led to her death. An emergency room nurse who assessed Nikki when she was brought to the hospital testified at trial, saying the child had a handprint on her face and that the back of her skull was bruised and mushy. Defense attorney Gretchen Swen responded and says the photos from the autopsy shown to jurors disprove Paxton's claim.
You look at the child and there are minimal bruises on her. There's no blood. There are no abrasions on her face. There is a bump on the back of her head that the CAT scans show you is so minor that it alone could not possibly explain what happened to her.
Her written rebuttal claims because the medical examiner did not review any of Nikki's medical records, she had no way to account for the effects of 2 days of extensive medical treatment on Nikki's body before the autopsy was performed. Paxton says Nikki was, quote, abused by her father and died due to the trauma he inflicted, adding trial testimony from Roberson's ex-wife, who said she was, quote, strangled, punched, and beat by Roberson. The statement claims Roberson not only physically abused his daughter, but also sexually abused her. That claim, according to one of Roberson's cellmates. In the AG's statement, the cellmate is unnamed. Swen says the man never testified at trial.
That it's being brought up now, 20 years later, and treated as if it's a truthful allegation is beyond despicable.
Former Palestine detective and lead on Roberson's case, Brian Wharton, states a sexual assault kit was submitted to DPS back in 2002. The results came back with no evidence of sexual assault. Paxton writes in summary, the jury did not convict Roberson on the basis of shaken baby syndrome. Swen's response?
Again, all you have to do is go look at the trial transcripts themselves. It was a shaken baby case from the beginning of jury selection all the way through to the end.
The trial transcript provided in her rebuttal shows at least 29 mentions of shaken baby syndrome. Lauren Tier, KLTV 7 News.
And tonight, Robert Roberson remains on death